Hello, my loves. Right, this is my new practice hand that I was telling you about. So I asked on my community tab for you guys to think of a name. And the name I've chosen was from Kylie Coleman and it's Quarantina. What a name. I love it. So thank you for that. As you can see, she's solid colour throughout. I mean, the detail is like borderline creepy. It's so good. My son freaked out. He thought somebody was sat in here because I had the hand still on my armrest, and I'd gone off, and he was like, I thought someone was sat in the salon, because he could just see the hand through the window. These tips were already attached. They came with the hand, and they don't slide in and out, they stick to the nail, whereas the other one I had before, they slide in and out. So the first thing I've noticed the difference is obviously it's a bit easier to file because they don't move. On a downside, I feel like cuticle work with acrylic is a little harder because you get a bit of forgiveness when you have a deep cuticle area. Anyway, what I'm doing this video for is actually, loads of you have asked for colour blocking and geometric stuff. I am going to do two different ways of colour blocking, doing the same design, and discuss the pluses and minuses to both. And, you know, just kind of go with the flow so you guys can decide which ones you might want to do. So I'm just sizing up the easy stiletto tips from Glitter Planet, and I'll add a bit of glue and stick it on as normal. I hope you're all doing well. We've got beautiful weather and I feel incredibly lucky to have a really nice south-facing back garden. So it's really, really warm today. And for those of you that asked about Chloe, thank you so much. She's been put on a medicine called omeprazole, which is for gastric stuff. She's starting to feel better. She's able to eat small amounts. She can't drink coffee or like Pepsi or anything like that, but you know, she's getting there. Right, Nail Mate Crystal Clear is what I'm using, and my monomer, and Dusky Pink, and also the gold one that I don't know the name of, which you guys probably do. It's a holographic gold. It's very pretty. You'll see it. So I'm going to cut this tip down. I hope the audio's all right on this. I got some AirPods. Bloody great. You can walk around the house and ignore everybody. Fabulous. Now this felt a bit odd. It's different than the flexi finger because you have the whole hand, so I guess it's more realistic in that sense, but it takes a bit getting used to. I like them both for different reasons. So with the flexi hand, it's quick because you can just slide the tip up, but I always felt that they never looked as realistic, whereas this looks super realistic, but is a little bit trickier to work with getting the cuticle nice and neat. Like, it's harder than on a real person for me anyway. I found it a bit of a faff, but then it's the first time I've ever used it, so I'm sure I'll adapt and overcome, as you do. I'm just buffing the contact point of that tip. Sorry, I just took a glug of coffee. And then we'll get rid of all the dust with Gerald there, my handy dusty brush. And I'm just going to put a clear base. So this is crystal clear acrylic from Nail Mate and the premium adhesive monomer. Tap it in and just feather it down the nail, as I would with a real person. Oh, some just turn their music up. So now I'm either going to have to be louder, or I'm just going to have to hop over the fence and headbutt them before I scream. Honestly, I think it's so rude because we've got key workers, you know, nurses, carers, people who are working 12-hour night shifts, and then idiots sat in their garden blasting music like a bunch of Sorry, I'll beep that out. Right, I've come indoors so I don't hurt anyone. Okay, I've gone in with a white acrylic and I'm just going to tap it in around the cuticle area. And right, so on this first nail, I am purely using my brush to shape the colour blocking, and then my file to refine it, okay? And on the other nail, I will use a blade. So I'm just going to use my brush for this. Now, it's important that the acrylic is not too wet because it will just run everywhere and it won't hold its shape. This is where I'm more comfortable, is using my brush, I must admit. Although both these nails had errors on them, just, you know, spoiler alert. I need to set up a better way of doing it because the camera was right in my line of sight, so I was having to like bend around it to see what I was filming. So yeah, it's not as perfect as I can get it, but I just wanted to give you the gist, because I'm impatient. I just wasn't in the mood for faffing around, especially with idiots making loads of noise outside, because I was just getting angry. Yeah, my mental health's doing really well during lockdown. Ha, not. So yeah, how is everyone anyway? I hope you're all doing all right, guys. I really do. Just to let you know, I am on Instagram as Southwest Nail Training, and I do have a Sarah Burchett, and it's just got like 2 nail pictures. It's just my other account I've deactivated because it's glitchy as hell and it's driving me mad. I'm getting too stressed out of it, trying to fix it, and I can't fix it. So right, I'm taking the 100 grit side of my file and I am butting it up against that acrylic and petrified that I'm gonna like file into this hand and ruin it. It's not about filing fast, it's about filing accurately. That's what I would say. So don't think you've got to go, "Whoa," you know, just do it right and just be patient with it. So yeah, I'll put my new Instagram links in the description box. I don't really know what's going to happen with my big account. It's like, there's no point having it if it's glitching. It's just no point whatsoever. And I'm not actually that worried about it. Like, I know some people are hugely motivated by numbers and they think their success is defined in a number, but it's not. Like, if you don't really like yourself, then you will search for authentication. No, not authentication. You know what I mean. Right, I've filed that in and I've dusted away the dust, and I'm going in with this beautiful, the pre-mixed holographic gold. So what have you learnt from this change of society if you are in a country that is in lockdown? Because what I've learnt is the fact that we place too much value on things that actually hold no value. Does that make any sense? For example, an Instagram account that you just think, oh my God, and it's actually completely meaningless, because when the shit hits the fan and people are dropping down dead of a serious pandemic, who cares about Instagram? No one cares. It doesn't matter. It's not important. I see this as important because I'm here to hopefully entertain you with my mad ramblings and somewhat okay nails. And I kind of see that as quite vital for my mental health and your mental health. And I have had people message me just appreciating the distraction from all the horrible stuff going on. I get that, that's cool. But I am failing to see why I used to get myself so engrossed in other platforms that really did nothing. They don't really do much. I mean, they put me in contact with amazing people, and I've got a good network. But I think it's probably a bit more stress than I need right now. So I'm quite happy to take a break and just stick with my little pages that have got like no one on them. Okay, so that's all sealed in. Now, I did cap that with clear, that glitter acrylic, because obviously it is a glitter, not a strength. Doesn't that hand look real? Oof. Again, I'm butting the file up, right up against, nice and flat. I've sped it up a little bit because this video would be very long. So the positives to doing a colour block this way round is that I feel like, for me, I have a lot more control about making the lines a bit more precise. Although, like I said on this, I did make a couple of errors because I couldn't see the errors. I was at the wrong angle. So, yeah, but I feel for me this is comfortable doing it this way. The downside to doing it this way is that you have to wait for each section to set fully before you can file it into place and then clean it down and then start the next section, which means that it takes a long time. This is Dusky Pink, Now you need to flip the bead. I'll show you later on because it does marble a bit, and when you're doing a colour block you need a solid colour, you don't want marbling, so you need to flip the bead with that, which I do on the next bit, and I'll show you. It's fine. So with this one, obviously the only filing it'll need is on the top. I'm just checking because again it's such a weird shaped finger that I'm just trying to get in there, right in the little crevices. Oh my god, honey. So yeah, don't really know what else to say. I've had some really random ramblings today already, haven't I? It's one of those days when you just sort of think about things. See, this time I'm going to flip the bead. There you go. I'm working a bit drier with it as well because I need to colour block, obviously, and it's fine, absolutely fine. So I'm going to tuck that up where I need to go. Very light movements with the brush, just like painting. And I couldn't really decide what pattern I was going to do. First I was going to do it like this, like I'm doing now, and then I thought, oh no, I don't like the look of that. Don't like it, so I'll change it. So I decided to change it. I used my brush to just slice off a bit off the end and then butt it back up into shape. So what I'm doing is getting the majority of the shape with the brush, using the brush as my tool, and then using the file to refine. And that's the way I've always done colour block. But I've seen people use blades, I've seen people use hair, I've seen people use that invisible cotton stuff, fishing wire, a lot. So again, I'm going to file it. It's not as easy. Once you start doing more intricate colour blocks, it gets a little bit fiddly trying to file the little bits. So that's a downside to doing it this way. Just being honest and, you know, telling you there's pluses and minuses to every different method, I think. So it's up to you which one suits you, really. I'm just going to go in with white at the bottom there. Just stick it straight on and push it into place. Again, working quite dry. Not super duper dry. I don't think I'm capable of working with a super duper dry bead. It's just not in me. I just don't know how. I'll just keep tapping that into place, then I'll let it dry and then we'll file it and we'll have a look at the end result.
Clear my mind. I'd rather just tweet it and delete it before we cross the line and we reach a point we can't rewind. Rewind, rewind, rewind. Tell me what choice I have now. I just wanna get it right with you. But if we try to talk about it, our history says we'll just argue. And I know you're gonna act a fool, and then no one could tell the difference between me and you, babe. Watching from a distance, hiding these feelings, going through changes. I'm just so mad, but now it's at my own expense. So I'ma just tweet it and delete it, knowing you won't read it before we get too far away. I need to clear my mind. I'd rather just tweet it and delete it before we cross the line and we reach a point we can't rewind. Maybe I need some space, need some air, somewhere else to go, to release, to relax, to let my emotions flow. But for now, I just read it and delete it.
Okay, so once I've finished filing like a mad woman, here we go. That's the final result of that. So there's a couple of tiny imperfections that are frustrating, but that's, you know, just what it is really. Overall, I like it. I'm happy with it. And I'm going to do the same design, just using the blade, which I don't do normally. So it's interesting to see. Now, the only blade I had, you're going to laugh, is like a surgical scalpel, which was from my late grandfather's inventing box. He did, he worked at Oxford University, so he had a lot of cool stuff. So I'm doing exactly the same thing here, applying a big bead of white, tucking it in around the cuticle, but instead of shaping it with my brush, I'm just going to let it set up a little bit. And then this is really weird doing it this way, and then once it's sort of set up a bit, I'll take the blade and I'm going to just rock it gently over the surface and then drag the acrylic away. And I mean, that is very easy, I must admit. So the plus side to doing it with a blade is it's very easy and quicker, definitely quicker, and you can get in to smaller spaces and do more intricate designs for sure. It just takes a bit of getting used to for me, because if you accidentally nudge it with the blade, you'll make it go wobbly where you don't realise and stuff like that. But it's definitely quicker and probably more accurate if you're good at what you're doing. But it means you don't have to necessarily wait for it to dry. You can just go straight in with the next colour, which does speed that process up a lot. It's something I'll need to practice more, because I still made errors like this. So it's definitely something I will have to practice. Now, I don't know what came over me, but I did this gold area and then I proceeded to cut half of it away, so I had to redo it. I don't really know what I was doing. I was chatting to Chloe, that's what I was doing. She sat in the salon with me having a chit chat. Thank you for those that have wished her a get well soon wish. She's getting there, bless her. She's been feeling a bit faint and a bit weak, but she's starting to eat again, little bits. So hopefully we'll get her back to full health soon. So I went in with the blade. Here's another thing. If you go in too soon, you're going to make a bloody mess. So wait for it to start setting. But I couldn't do it. I was in a right old pickle. Normally I just sweep the brush along, but I just for some reason couldn't get it right. So I went back in and added more product. And I think it's important to show you me trying it different ways. If I just show you the way I do it, how are you going to know if another way might suit you better? If that makes sense. Yeah, this was a mistake. This whole bit was a mistake, to be honest. I just bodged it right out. So then I went in and added more product and thought, right, get your head straight, Mrs. B. Sort it out, mate. Is anyone else getting fat during lockdown? I mean, I understand that I'm in a very privileged position to be able to get fat during lockdown, but I am. Like, I'm eating stuff I don't even like. I was just eating. I'm like, oh, look, it's 7:15. I must eat. Oh, look, it's 7:30. Maybe I'm hungry. Right, so I did cheat and do a little bit of it with my brush, because it's just, I didn't even know I was doing it, to be honest. It just happened. Then I came back in with the blade, but I think I came in a bit prematurely. I was a little bit premature because it wasn't really set up enough and it was all sticky and a bit funny to work with, but I got there in the end. Just thought I'd clear up that little bit there. So if you go onto my community post, you'll see like I've put a post up for you guys to tell me what you would like to see. Again, I'm going to roll that bead. So do let me know on that. Do it on that post, because if it's all scattered everywhere on different posts, I won't remember to check. But if you all put your suggestions on that post, then I will be able to see and work through them. I'm trying to keep it as neat as possible. Doing my best. There's no point in causing unnecessary filing, although I do like it when it's messy and then you file away the nice design. It is a very pretty colour. Okay, and then I'm going to add the dusky pink down the bottom, which I've put on the wrong way around, and I regretted it because it's starting to marble and I was frustrated. Silly me. Now this one again is going to be one that I cut. So I start tapping it with my brush and I'm like, no, Sarah, no, this must be cut with the knife. So I'm just going to pat it into place and then get on with the blade. And again, I didn't wait long enough, really. I should have waited a bit more, especially as it's quite pigmented powder. They take a bit longer to set. But hey ho. So yeah, this is not set enough yet, you see? Because when I go in, it just does that. That's not good. Don't do that. Don't be a Sarah. I think it's nice for me to show you these kind of things where I'm playing with different ideas. I hope it's helpful because you can see that's what you're likely to experience if you're new to something. Like I can show you when I've perfected it, which is nice and you know, people will say it's inspiring and motivating. But I would like to show you before I've mastered something so that you, when you're trying to learn that same thing, you don't beat yourself up and think, why does she do it like this and I can't do that? Because it's not the case. We all start off making boo-boos and getting frustrated. That's how we learn. And it's not a mistake. It's just a lesson that you've learned as well. You haven't got it wrong. You've just not got it as perfect as you want it. Like, don't beat yourself up. I don't beat myself up. It is what it is. It is what it is, right? Okay, then I'm going to put the white down and I'm going to let that dry. Now, I really apologise for this, but my camera cut off again. I think someone was trying to ring me and I didn't realise. And I missed the top coat part of this nail. So it skips to the reveal shot at the end. But I hope it's been somewhat helpful, if not entertaining, to hear me losing my mind at the neighbours and ranting about life. I do hope you're all taking care. And I'll see you in my next video in a couple of days. Tally bye!